Uh, Everyone, I'm so happy to be making this presentation today. I'm going to be talking about how to record a presentation, right? How to have a great recording. So, before I continue, let me just briefly introduce myself. So, my name is Bunmi Akinremi from Nigeria, and I'm a data scientist at Elin. Last year, I was awarded the Miss Algorithm Award by Data Scientist Network. So I love community building, I love mentoring, I love helping. Uh, I also have interests in building mobile apps that leverage on AI technology. I love writing articles. I write articles on data science, ML, and AI topics. And I was also, featured in a book titled The Techie Chick by Ibuku Ogunaike. So in my free time, I don't do all time coding. So in my free time, I sing, I write, and I read books too. Yeah, I love reading and I love writing, especially. So let's get right in. So you're going to learn how to set up a recording space. You're going to learn tools you should use for recording sessions and how these tools actually make your recording easier. You're going to learn some tips on how to make your recording, feel like a live presentation and not just like a news broadcast or something. How to make it lively and how to kind of make your audience kind of the attention focused on you. Okay. I also mentioned some things you should avoid, while making a recording. So let's get started. So let's start with how to set up a recording space. So the first thing is that you should have a good background. First things first. So you can use a background like mine, blowing out your background, or you can use your kitchen. You can use a plain background, a white background. If you have like a white, if you have a light background, you can use black, whatever. Just make sure that it's actually a good background. Then it should also be in a well lit room, so uh you do not want to use a room that is quite dark, that your face is almost blending with your background. So you want to use a well lit room. You also want to have already prepared your slides and notes. So depending on the kind of presentation you're giving, sometimes some are quite technical that you need to like add notes so that you would like not forget. So that you would not forget what you want to say, right? So to prevent, pausing every single time to like probably glance at a book, so you can just have some notes, right? So that as you're moving through the slides, when you get that you remember that, oh, I should mention this point, I should talk about this. It's actually very, very handy. So prepare this already before you even start to think of present of recording your session. Then make sure you've tested all your equipment and they are working perfectly. And you should also use a quiet room. Like, you do not want distractions. You don't want somebody to be talking to you at that moment, or you don't want your kids running around the room and disturbing. So if possible, you can actually add a no noise notice on your door, just to like you know let people know that, okay, someone is actually doing something important around. Okay. So let's talk about the next thing, and that is tools you can actually use for recording sessions. um So for this section, I actually divided it into four. So I'm going to talk about equipment you should use for recording session. I'm going to talk about some recording tools. I'm going to talk about some slide making and slide sharing tools. And I'm also going to talk about, the kind of backgrounds, that you can actually use. So for equipment, it's recommended to actually use external microphone and webcam, except for occasions where your webcam is really good, like at least 720p or more, and your microphone is actually really, really good. But it's usually, recommended to use an external microphone, just like my own, and an external webcam. It makes it clearer. Like, you don't want to make your presentation your boring, so it makes it clearer, and it makes it, neater, right? So you can avoid all sort of echo, and noise. So you should also use an external light source. So just to have like, if your room is well lit, you might not need that. But if probably like the light source is quite far from where you're using, you might need to have like an external light source to actually, focus light on your face. So some recording tools you should use, right? So I'm currently using StreamYard for this presentation. Yeah, StreamYard is actually a great tool actually. Like I did love it. Um, so StreamYard allows you not only to record and share your slides from probably, because right now I'm actually sharing my slides from Canva. So I'm presenting my slides from Canva and I'm using StreamYard to actually record this video. So StreamYard does not only allow you to just record and share, so you can also have a number of other people, and then you can even like share your screen in the sense that, I mean, you can change the orientation. So just look at this. So you can see my video like at the bottom. I can also change the orientation to something like this where you can see my video at the side, then my presentation, my slides at the side. Then I can also change it to fully slides or just my video. It allows you to actually switch this thing real time even as you're making your recording. So probably there's actually a point where you need to like explain and expatiate on stuff. You can actually use this as a very very it's very very important too. So yeah, let me switch back to my slides, right? So yeah, let me talk about Canva. So Canva also allows you to um record. So there's actually an option for you to like record your session on Canva. You can present and record. So it actually gives you a a great interface for you to record your session. But because of this video, I decided to use StreamYard and Canva separately just to show you like the differences, right? And you can also use Camtasia and then Zoom. Zoom is actually a very very popular tool that you can use. You can just create a meeting and then join it and record, and then it downloads the recorded video to your own device, your own system. Uh, so for making your slides or for actually sharing your slides, so Canva is a great tool actually for making slides. I personally use Canva for making slides. Google Slides is also a great option. You can also use PowerPoint. You can also use Prezi. And for sharing your slides, you can use Canva to share your slides. You can use SlideShare to share your slides. You can use um PowerPoint to share your slides. You can use Google Slides to share your slides. So these are actually like great options that you can actually try out. Um, so background. So you don't want to use a background that's noisy, that's too distracting, and you also don't want to use you want to use a great background, right? So you can decide to use a plain white background or just a plain background with not too many distractions. You can also decide to use your kitchen, right? Just like we have here. So if you're going to be using your kitchen, it's going to be something not too distracting, right? So I don't want to see like a lot of pots or plates, this kind of stuff. So it's just something simple, something simple, something that would actually focus their attention on you. Some use their wardrobe, right? Though, but it's you just want to have like a good background all the same. And the and you want to let's talk about how you can make your presentation alive, like how to make your presentation not feel like a boring podcast or something, or someone is just you know reciting a newspaper or something to you. So what are the things you can add? They're just little things actually that you can actually add to like kind of draw your audience attention. And this is important if you're giving very long technical talks or just long talks, right? So you don't want to bore your audience out. You want to kind of give them something new at some instance, right? So let's see. The first thing is you want to ask subtle questions and give a 2-second pause, then continue your session. So what do I mean? So you can just say, have you ever wondered why um you see cockroaches? Cockroaches always they're always near probably food stuff. you don't see cockroaches near things that don't have food or something, right? So you always see cockroaches near food stuff. You always see, or you can just ask like just gentle questions, just ask like simple, subtle questions, right? In the midst of your presentation. So you allow your audience to provide answers in their head, right? And then you continue your session. So you just give like just 2 second pause. So while they are actually trying to figure out while they're trying to figure out the answer, you continue your session. Another thing you can do is to add slide transitions, just like I did, right? So you don't just want to be swiping through slides, right? You want to add some kind of small animations, right? Not too much, like not like every single word will be animated, or no, of course not. Just gentle, transitions that would show that okay, I'm moving to the next slide, right? Those little kind of things kind of give focus, and this is good especially if you're giving very long talks, right? So you don't want to bore your audience out. um Another thing you can do is add background music. So this is kind of important if you're giving a technical talk. So imagine giving probably a technical talk of 1 hour 45 minutes, where like 1 hour is for um technical stuff. Probably you are writing live codes or something, and you and so you and there are parts where you have to like pause, right? So you don't want to just keep quiet and then everyone just keeps looking at you. So you can just probably at this session add background music that is not too loud and is not too distracting, that people won't be like, what kind of music is this guy playing, right? Something just soothing and you know just like, okay, bear the silence. So that's also a good a good thing you can add. And then try to switch between your full video and slides. So StreamYard actually makes this easier for you, right? So you can actually switch between full video like this, your full slides. So this is actually good because you kind of giving them something new unexpectedly, right? So at the point where they are expecting to see just slides alone, you switch to your video and then try to explain and expatiate some points, then you continue sharing your slides. These are just little things that actually count, and then that give you like a less boring presentation. And let's talk about the number of things to avoid while making a recording. Write your don'ts. So the first thing is you want to avoid background noise, right? You don't want somebody entering the room and then making noise, and you don't want to also you don't want people interrupting or distracting you. So you want to give in your best without like, okay, somebody's here, somebody's actually distracting you, kind of stuff. So you want to eliminate background noise, and you also want to speak loud because you're tempted to use your bedroom voice because you're not addressing a large crowd. So it's different if you're in front of like probably hundreds of people or just 50 people. The way you would speak with such passion, and your voice would be way louder. So you want to be that loud so that don't just depend on your microphone or something. So you want to be loud, you want to be audible. You don't want to use bedroom voice, to actually give your presentation. Another thing is to avoid moving objects and people in your background. So you don't want kids running around the room. You don't want somebody coming in and then causing some form of distractions. So that would create like another scenario that would kind of distract your audience. So you do not want that. And you don't want interruptions if you're showing your face. So you don't want someone to be talking to you, right? Or someone to like be asking you something while you're actually showing your face. Of course, the moment you swipe your eye this way, someone knows that okay, the audience knows that somebody's there, right? Just your eye movements, like even your body movement says a lot if you're actually being interrupted. So you want to like avoid that as much as possible. And also, don't forget to click pause if you want to take a break from recording, right? can just pause it, then take a break. You also want to be in a cheerful mood. You don't want to be sad and like, wait, no one cares actually. But if you're actually giving a live presentation, right, you want to be your best mood. You want to be energetic. So carry that same energy, carry that same cheerfulness, to also to your recorded sessions, because your audience would also receive that to as if it's a live presentation. Then if you're also going to give them a very long talk, so rather than just taking breaks or pauses, you can just get a bottle of water right beside you. If your presentation is going to be quite long, you know. And with that, I would like to say thank you for listening. Yeah, I do hope that you've actually learned one or two things. Probably find out a couple of tools you can use. These tools actually have like some sort of free trial that you can actually use, to get started. And you can always reach out to me if you have questions. You can reach out to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Bunmi Rose, and you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am Bunmi Akinremi. So thank you so much for listening.